So here's another quickie. So I've just seen this one. Palace officials determined to stop Harry and Meghan's international tours. Royal family may meddle with Prince Harry and Meghan's future international trips. That was written today, May 23rd, 2024. And then I started to think about it on a whole other level because, the use of the language friendly states versus what? Enemy states? What is an enemy state? That's a defined term, I believe, in the UN Charter, right? After World War II. Enemy state is a defined term. Now, I think that that term would be limited to those states that fought in the Second World War, but they can expand enemy state. They can expand the definition or they can give it a whole new definition, because when they start talking about friendly states, and also notice the language they used when they came out and said that King Charles see Harry as forming a hostile rival royal operation in California. This is some serious stuff. They're not kidding. They're not joking. This is heavy, heavy language. This sounds like war, you guys. And don't forget that England has always been at the bottom of most of the world wars that have been fought in modern history, right? And so Africa, they'll just take down the whole continent. You know that. The way they will justify it is that we put it together, we take it apart, because they think that they own Africa. They really do, them and their friends. And what they're going to do is, first, they're going to start with Nigeria. They're going to make an example of Nigeria somehow, right? They're going to declare Nigeria an enemy state somehow, right? And once they do that, then you're looking at trade embargoes, you're looking at seized bank accounts. I mean, they are working overtime to cripple Nigeria. Believe me, this is my opinion and I'm sticking to it. This is my opinion, I'm sticking to it, right? So once they cripple Nigeria, which is one of the richest, if not the richest country in Africa, certainly the most populous country, I believe, then the rest is child's play, right? So declare Nigeria an enemy state, right? Justify going in and just crippling the country. If you don't drop an actual bomb, you drop an economic bomb or something else. You cripple them, right? Next step is, because it's declared an enemy state, and not only they, but all their friends have stopped trading with Nigeria. So now you're looking at a Haiti 2.0, right? Hungry people, centuries and centuries of devastation follow. Famine, wars, civil wars, just a total breakdown of the country, right? Then with Harry, they bring him up on treason, because once they declare Nigeria an enemy state and you have a British citizen, and not just Nigeria, I mean, they're going to be looking at other countries in Africa where they think Harry and Meghan might get a warm reception, countries that might be inclined to host Harry and Meghan. And so they have to stop this from happening. So they're going to declare states enemy states, or in some way put the pressure on these states not to host Harry and Meghan, on the threat that if they do, you're looking at trade sanctions, you're looking at economic sanctions, you're just looking at, potential luck. We're coming in because you're corrupt and your people deserve a better government for getting their own, right? And then they whatever they do, then any British citizen who interacts with these states would be deemed treasonous, right? So Harry, who has big plans to go into Africa, especially for his Netflix special and stuff like that, I would think he would have to be very, very careful about that, depending on how this plays out. At the moment, he can go there. There's nothing to stop him to say, well, this country has been deemed an enemy state. But if, in fact, it escalates to that point and he continues to go into these countries, deal with these leaders, etc., then he's up on treason. That's how you bring down Harry and Meghan. So Harry and Meghan really have to be careful, and they have to think about this really carefully and weigh the pros and cons. I mean, is it worth it to them? Is it worth it to put these countries in this position? Because Harry's father and brother and the British state are truly concerned about his rising popularity, his rising influence, and the fact that, and the fact that he's married to, quote unquote, that woman whom they don't approve of. No offense to Megan, but that's how they think of her. That woman. She doesn't even have a name. Okay? So they really have to think about this and decide whether, it's worth it to them. And yeah, because the palace is agitated. And they want them to be afraid also. And they want these countries to be afraid because, again, they don't respect the sovereignty of these countries. They think they own these countries. And a part of what needs to happen here, frankly, from my perspective anyway, is for these countries to really break free, and to really rethink their allegiances and their alliances, because the fact that you've been aligned with something or someone doesn't mean that it's good for you necessarily. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's good for you, right? And this whole mental slavery thing needs to stop at some point. And maybe Megan is catalytic. Maybe she was meant to be in this position of putting people, you know, on notice of what's really going on underneath of all of this surface. Oh, we're a Commonwealth. Oh, we love you. Oh, we come visit you and you lay down the red carpet for us. I mean, we needed to open up our eyes.